Hey guys, Clumsy here. Welcome back to Clumsy Trucking Friday. Good morning, good evening. How is everybody doing? Thank you for joining, guys. Sorry a bit late to the party. We are here. First on my list is Gamaste. Don't have Scotsman right now. I think he's busy in Amsterdam. He was checking the weather a couple of days back. Hey Patrick. Hey Calvin. OCS. Sonoma. NL. How are you guys? Thank you for being early birds, even earlier than me. Hey Alex, how's it going? Where have you been in the trucking world? Jack Spanner, hold on to your bags. I think Jack has some funky plans. I saw what he was streaming, sorry he couldn't drop by. How was it? Hey Hud, glad you made it again today. How are you? You're outside, okay. Are you in school? Stay safe. Yar Jack. So we are going with ATS today. I don't know about you guys, but there are these lulls in the community that like just nothing is like, there are some things that come in, but nothing is really like groundbreakingly brand new that that we can get so hyped for. Like there are these seasons, right? And I think we're at that season where it's a bit of a lull. So during these kinds of seasons, I found that it's perfect for getting into what we already have and just enjoying and exploring them more. And so in line with that, we are going back to ATS on the classic Freightliner Classic XL by Ruda. And I will be exploring more of the map. Maybe hopefully more of Chihuahua would make sense. I haven't explored that quite yet. Team Reforma has been doing a couple of updates with that. Both the free and the paid versions. The free maps and the paid one for Chihuahua specifically. Turn off the music for now. Funky plans, who? Me? There you go. So we have JBX graphics for ATS. We have all the Team Reforma maps. We have Zeemod, the new version as well. We have the 138 version for the Freightliner Classic by Ruda. That's what we'll be driving with. And we have an updated satellite imagery from Bengan. This expands the map even more. Let's work with that. And then if you want to make it work with Google Maps, what you'll have to do is to Google Maps here, the background satellite image from Bengan, and then put the customization, the color add-on from Sinagrit Baba on top here. Depending if you like it night mode or not. Something along those lines. And that should be available in sinagritbabaworkshop.com, I think is the webpage. But it should be in the mods list as well. Right, let's go and load it up. Classes until 10 a.m. Ah, I see. They're both absent. Yikes. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? When I was in school, I remember I enjoyed that pretty much. Woohoo, no classes. Hey Martin. Thanks for joining. Ah, the Cruising Idaho event's still not over, huh? Interesting. So I did the Silent Trucking episode that's coming out later, where we drove through, what was the name? State Route 51, State Highway 51 here from Idaho. This is very nice actually. Very scenic and lots of very nice windy roads, but all of them are well signed and well made. So I enjoyed that trip pretty much. For today though, I think it's nice if we focus a bit more on the southern end, and this is the new satellite imagery. You can see how huge it covers the entire Americas region. including Canada, so they're ready for pro mods already. And the rest of Mexico is already here, and I guess some of Central Latin America, which I'm not really familiar what these places are. But yeah, so they're ready for further expansion. But I think we start off in Chihuahua, because there are lots of places here that we haven't explored yet. And we'll go around and travel across Mexico today. What time is it in game time? 1:18? Yeah, we can live with that. Go to Chihuahua. Now, as you guys might know, with the Mexican maps, we have this, I would call it bug, where the estimated time, the trip deadline is not very much in line with the how long till you get there. The calculation is a bit wrong. But thankfully with this mod that doubles the deadlines of the jobs, at least it wouldn't be as critical, wouldn't be as inaccurate, so we would have a bit of more of a buffer. Where you live now, it's night. I see. Where are you from again? This is a very nice thing. I'm not sure what it is, but it looks very unique. I would guess that's a custom asset from Team Reforma. What I like in particular, where is that? Is this the one with the traffic light? Yeah, I think I had a silent trucking episode where I got confused with this traffic light. I saw it was green and I turned left. Apparently that fourth one at the bottom is the left turn signal, and if you don't look at it hard, you won't notice it. Like, look at this, and then I would guess the left turn would appear. Yeah, so and that's the time you can turn left. So I was wondering, there was a green light and I turned left and I got a ticket. But apparently there is a separate one for the left turn. That's all custom built by Team Reforma, I believe. And it comes with many different variations depending on where you are. Now you might notice a bit more anti-aliasing. A bit more aliasing, a bit more jagged edges. I had to tone down the settings because I'm driving with the classic XL by Ruda, which is quite heavy on the frames. So one sec, I will get back to chat. I'll just teleport here into the car zone. Is it this one? Where's the mechanic? No, it's actually across the street right here. Alright. There you go. That does open up. That's nice. That is animated. Cool. Doing pretty lousily with your mental health lately. Oh. Yes. I hate that. How it is treated like you have, I don't know, it's not the same as if you have a physical ailment, right? Like something is wrong with you. Well, that's true, but yeah, there is a stigma. And I really hope that changes. Because for me, mental health is just as important, or sometimes even more important than your physical health. And if you have an ailment in one, shouldn't be taken against you. You should be given the same amount of support and understanding as if when you have a physical ailment. That's in my idea. 51 Nevada 225 Road at Tuscan. It was beautiful. I definitely agree. There's the engine sound from Zeemod, my absolute favorite. Central American Caribbean. Thanks Alex. Cheater. From Norway. So what is it there? 2 a.m. Chihuahua International Airport. I am using the smooth camera plugin. That doesn't really affect track IR thankfully, but whenever I turn off track IR like this, then I should be able to use it when I hit the numpad keys, like so. So it's perfectly compatible on both sides. Where's the tackle? We'll be looking more of that. That's true, and the mental ones are harder to pinpoint, right? They're harder to diagnose. So let's go and find a job. So hope you feel better, HUD. Hope we can help a bit, alleviate those... Oh crap, something crashed. Is the chat still moving? Okay, it's still moving, thankfully. But my stream preview disappeared. That's fine. Where do you guys want to go? Maybe we can deliver... let's do a warm-up. Chihuahua to... Oh, there's no Chihuahua to Chihuahua. Okay. Delicias is the... Well, then maybe we don't need a warm-up. We can take a long trip. Any preference where to go? Take the longest job? Go south, north? Let me know in chat. In the meantime, I will catch up with you guys. Singapore, we used to have this saying that Xiao lang, crazy people all go to Hugang Chalet. Ah, I see, yes. Yeah, it's... the stigma is still... Yeah, it's still bad. Smooth camera plugin was causing frame rate slowdowns and stutters. Ah, maybe that can be the case depending on the setup. I don't think I've encountered it myself though. But it was pretty good for me. I mean, I think the only major reason for my slowdowns is really Ruda's truck. It's just really heavy on the frames. I do like those lumber deliveries. Going to Reno in Vegas. Can we make it in this stream? That would be nice, right? Been struggling for over a year. That's great to hear, man. Yeah, hope we can continue helping you. And yes, the community is here to support each other, so more than welcome. No, hey! You're on the autism spectrum and have occasional anxiety issues, so you can relate somewhat. I see. Well, thank you guys for being here and for sharing that. I know it's not very easy to share that personal info. So I appreciate you guys stepping out of your comfort zone and sharing those details, because yeah, it's not yet as... not everyone is as open yet. But hopefully with enough awareness, we can change that. So, okay, so do we have a fourth traffic light here? Not really. Looks like we only have 3. Okay, so let's try. This should work. Come on, why are you stopping in the middle? Okay, I think that worked. I didn't get the ticket. We have a friend who's autistic. Stories he tells about how people treat him as almost a criminal or something. Horrifies you. Yeah, I think it's easy for people to... how do you say? If they don't understand something, then it's easy to hate or have an untoward behavior towards that certain thing or person. Unfortunately, it's the basic human behavior, so we have to be more human and be aware of those kinds of things so we can catch them. Where are we going? I have no clue, to be honest. It says 40 minutes to get there. I highly doubt it. This is one of those roads without a speed limit, so the game always has a problem computing the ETA. Thanks, Martin, appreciate it. It's actually not in the best level right now. You can see a lot of shimmering on the horizon if you look. If you use your peripheral vision, like not focus on anything in particular, and just look at the image as a whole, you'll notice a lot of things shimmering, flickering. That is because of the poor anti-aliasing techniques. And because I cannot max out my settings at the moment because of this truck. But I think how beautiful this truck is more than makes up for it. So the only solution is to get an RTX 3080. Any news on that, guys? Lots of rumors on the road, getting more and more. getting more and more consistent with the dates. We are closing down on those actual dates. So really looking forward to it. Hey Emil, welcome back. How have you been? Yeah, Chihuahua is next level city building. Now this is a city. That's true, yeah. If Team Reforma can ramp it up and improve most of the other areas. There are even like horses on the side of the road. 1 horsepower. Love it. I close the windows here, it's getting a bit too loud. We should be getting some pretty nice frame rates though, guys. Let me know if you encounter a lot of frame stuttering. Should be minimal if any. Doing good as well, man. Doing good. I'm pretty happy at work specifically because remember that vacation I took just to unwind? I took a week off from my full-time work, continued YouTube, but took off time from my work as an IT consultant. In the middle of that, I think I told this story, in the middle of that, actually in the beginning of that vacation, as I was going to take a shower, an idea just popped up in my head. Something like one of the pain points that we have had ever since, and we've been thinking of possible solution. And as I was taking a shower, that idea just came up. And when I got back to work, I shared it and we continued refining it. So I worked with my team. We worked together and ironed out the details, refined it, and when we presented it to the client yesterday or the other day, they were so happy about it. It's like exactly what they were looking for. So it really just proves, you know, some downtime really helps to let the brain recharge and give it some breathing room to think properly. Because if you just keep at it non-stop, you'll get tired eventually. But if you take these downtimes occasionally, it's very healthy for the mind. And as a result, it's like taking 1 step backward because you're going on vacation. But when you get back, it's like 5 steps forward. Absolutely love it. Case in point. And I never thought of that idea while I was working. So yeah, sometimes when you're in the heat of things, it's hard to do a bit more of forward thinking. Is your card shivering yet? A month away. Oh my goodness, yeah, September is what they said, right? For the 3080 at least. I think 3070 will come in October and then 3060 will come in November, something along those lines. I myself am planning to get a 3080 depending on how much that will cost. Probably not a 3080 Ti, I don't think I can afford that, but most likely a 3080. And then I will try to dig up some buried cash lying around to make up for it. Alright, Hud, have a good one. Hope you feel better. And we're here if in case you need support. Just catch us on Discord in case you're still here. Now what I'm not sure of is if we'll make it in time for that job. If it'll still be there by the time we get there, but if not, that's fine. We can always just look for another one, and in the meantime, we can explore more of Chihuahua. Hey Cobalt, how are you? Thanks for joining. No selling Mrs. Clumsy's earrings. Definitely not part of the possibilities. I will get into so much trouble if I do that. Maybe selling the sofa would help though. That sofa right there. Mrs. Clumsy would come home one day and like, something feels missing. Although these days we're both home the entire day, so it's going to be hard to sneak that through. What do you work as outside of YouTube? I work in IT. So we work on our clients' supply chain systems. And I work as I don't know, even I find it so hard to describe what I do, but at the core of it, I guess, like, I'm like a designer slash developer, depending on what the need is. So I either do some actual coding in the system, the nitty-gritty details, or if needed, I'm the customer-facing one who interacts with the client and manages expectations and stuff like that. But yeah, to be frank, that's not really my favorite thing. It's very tiring for me as an introvert. So I very much prefer the coding part, but I do like the variety every now and then. So I appreciate it. That one looks nice, and that has a guard there so it does not slip off when we do sudden braking, and that will be very helpful for me. Do we want a double? No, maybe not. Let's do a quick save there and find where this thing is. Still waiting for your 5 billion. Is that billion or trillion? Too many zeros for me to count. So I'm just going to ignore that message. What is the lowest FPS one can endure? I guess, in my opinion, if you go lower than 30, then you start really feeling it. In truck sim, like in these simulators, 30 is more than enough usually. You only need more if you like have head tracking like this, because there are sudden movements. But if we're like fixed in front of the view like this, then you won't need as much frame rate, because things don't really change that much that fast, unlike in a first-person shooter where you're moving your head all over the place every single time. Wow, that actually worked. Angular approach. Nice, lucky. Alright. KTM's W900B. I don't think I've tried that yet. Is that payware? I hope they will add helicopters in Flight Sim 2020 so you can land in your yard. Yeah, when they add that, I think they will. I'm not sure if it's confirmed, but I think they're going to add that as a DLC in the future. If they will, I will get it for sure, and I will learn it because I am quite interested how to fly a chopper. Or is that the proper term even? But yeah, I'm very ignorant about it. I'm sure Alex will teach me a thing or two about it. But that's something I would like to get my hands on as well. And I do have rudder pedals now, so it should be at least not as fake of an experience. And with the infrastructure of FS 2020, I think it will prove to be amazing. You can land on any building that has a helipad. Used to play with a laptop that gave you around 8 FPS. Yeah, that's not going to work. That will be slideshow fest. Experience will be very limited that way. Wow, traffic. Hovering a helicopter can be a form of meditation. You have to empty your mind and be one with the chopper. I think I can get what you're trying to imply there. You really have to be really like feel the plane or the chopper. Cars are adding up, but nothing is moving. I think something is wrong with traffic. We'll have to take evasive maneuvers. And yeah, I can imagine, because you'll have to be very sensitive with the flight controls, and you'll have to do some very minute adjustments. This is Filipino driving right here, guys. Don't do this at home or in your own roads. Yeah. Seems like an accident there. Truck was turning and car was trying to sneak in, do a Fast and the Furious, move under the trailer like that. Unfortunately, he's no Vin Diesel, so I think he just got smacked right into the trailer, and the trailer has a call that aerodynamic thing, so not really going to work. There we go. If you have to think about when it's done, it's too late. Ah, yes. I can definitely understand that. Yeah, it has to be like muscle memory at that point, right? You have to learn it enough that you don't need to think about it anymore. It's just habits. Seems like I went the wrong way, but let's say it's more of a scenic route. Now, interestingly enough, asks me to turn right. Flies you around in TC's wildlands. What is TC? I think I tried flying a chopper once in a sim. I can't remember what it was, but it might not have been a sim. I think it would have been more of an arcade game, like one of those Comanche games. It was a combat chopper thingy, so I doubt that was any realistic at all. Look at how real that looks, right? All the different layers, the levels, buildings. Tom Clancy, ah, I see. Okay, as long as you don't land in the wrong place. I remember the basics, this like the super basics. Like if you push the stick forward, it tilts the chopper that way, right? You pitch down. And when you pitch down, it's like because your propeller is going to be facing where that direction where you are looking at. So that will be like you'll be moving forward. That's as much as I know. Very good sky, thanks to JBX. I would love to fly through those kinds of clouds, or maybe not. Maybe not after I've tried it once, but I sure would like to fly around them. Did you guys see that latest video from the Microsoft Flight Sim channel? My goodness, we are reaching next generation level of technologies. They gave more details on how they utilized AI and machine learning to auto-generate the buildings. So we all know that they use some kind of automated approach, right? To read through the satellite images and make those 2D satellite images into 3D buildings. But in that video, they highlighted more of what the details entail. And it's just so... it's kind of freaky, actually, how smart the technology is becoming now. So putting a bit more detail in it, it's like they scan, so they have these satellite images from Bing Maps, they scan it, so they see it, and then, for example, a city shot, so the city would have a lot of top-down buildings, right? So each of those buildings would have their own shape, their own size, different color. Based on several factors, they didn't really highlight which ones. Based on so many factors, they would classify each building. Okay, this looks like a building. This looks like a house. This looks like something. Yeah, and then from there, they would, I guess, have some kind of matching logic. That they say, okay, this building, we are currently in Europe. We are in Germany, and in Germany the buildings look like this, the houses look like this, they are this color, they use this material, and the windows are usually like this. So they go to that detail, so they add even if they only see the top-down picture, they're able to add the 3D details, like including like where the windows should be, where the doors are, based on that kind of mapping. So let's say in Germany, the architectural style is more like this. So when they see a roof that looks like this, then most likely the house would look like that. And then they have all these assumptions, and then that's how they generate a 3D model based on a 2D roof. So it's like just insane. And then imagine you can do that for like one house, right? By your eye, you can do that. But imagine doing that for the entire world, and they show the scale of like petabytes of data being analyzed and stuff like that. It's just freakily high tech. And now they say whenever they add some kind of logic, for example, they improve right now, for example, one of the improvement areas I guess is bridges, right? I don't think they can do bridges automatically yet. That's why we see a lot of bridges underwater. But when they, for example, develop a proper logic to recognize and build bridges automatically, oh, I would love that. They can push that to their logic. They can apply that to the AI logic. And I think based on what they said, if I understood it correctly, the re-rendering or the processing of that new logic across the entire world would only take 30 minutes, and they would get the results already, because they utilize the Microsoft Azure servers or something, right? The cloud servers. So it gets processed in a massive scale across the entire world. So they push out an update, gets applied everywhere at the same time, and in 30 minutes they have the entire world updated with that new logic. It is just mind-blowingly high-tech how we can do that, and I can only imagine what kind of implications that involves, not only on the sim but in other uses in the future. I mean, I have already seen a video I shared in Discord how the new flight sim can be used for photography, can use for sightseeing, for planning your shots, knowing the perfect angles and stuff like that. So it's insane what the era we're entering into. Literally next gen stuff. It is 1:1. Yeah, everything is 1:1. Also, I watched a recent video from Matt, or Chewy, I think his name is, in the channel. He showed the menu of the flights in 2020, the thing that you see above, if you've seen any of the videos. Apparently there is a time acceleration thing. That's the one I'm wondering about, because if you take like a long haul flight, Singapore to Zurich, for example, Singapore to Switzerland, it will take you around 12 hours, 16 hours, I can't remember, because it's a 1:1 map. But thankfully, even though they don't have the concept of time acceleration, like ×2, ×4, you can apparently jump to a different phase of the flight. Like let's say you're in cruise, you're going to be in cruise for the next 8 hours. You can just jump to the descent phase. So I guess that transports you to somewhere like 30 minutes away from landing, something like that. Descent or approach or landing. So different phases you can choose, and you can jump in there. So yeah, that's going to be perfect for me for making videos, for that idea I shared with you guys of retracing the travels I've been in, and seeing really firsthand how it looks, and sharing that experience with you, so I can do that from end to end. Traveling from Singapore to Zurich via the 787, maybe the Dreamliner. I don't have to wait like 12 hours in real life to record it and fly with you. I can skip a huge chunk of it that doesn't make that where there's no activity. So it's like I got even more excited when I saw that. Hopefully it works well. Hey Rohan. Yeah, Black Shark AI collab with SES. They are from somewhere in Europe, Austria, I think. Graz, something like that. The Black Shark AI. So they should be quite close to Czech Republic. So collaboration from geographical standpoint shouldn't be that impossible. Yeah, we'll see. Oh, come on. It didn't get discovered. I hate it. There was someone who subbed. Sorry for missing that, Gamaste. Thank you for 5 months. My goodness, welcome back to the VIP list, the sub community. Appreciate that, man. How are you doing, Rohan? Taking more screenshots? Goodness, the general channel is flooded with 75 shots. Sorry, not sorry. Is that a train in front of us? It looks like it. Itchy legs. Should reserve that username, or someone else might get it. Too much 75 today. I noticed. Ooh. Slow train. Too slow for the classic. Let's take a shot. I am doing good. Still painstakingly waiting for the new sim. I'm still hoping I get access to it. So behind the scenes, guys, since it's only a few of us here. Behind the scenes, guys, I'm actually working with some folks. So I reached out to Asobo Studio, to Microsoft, just in the off chance that I get an access. They actually linked me up with someone from Singapore, so I think they have a separate marketing team here in Singapore taking care of all the marketing needs from that point of view. So I'm working with them, but I'm not really sure if there will be keys for Singapore or I will be eligible for them. But I'm in touch with someone, and that's great. I'm just not sure if it will yield to anything. It will yield to a flight sim early access thing, or maybe something in the future, hopefully. But it's great. It's great to be able to work with someone from here directly. It makes it more relevant in terms of geography. You can give it to me. Fingers crossed. Yeah. Hey Zoc, welcome back. Sorry guys, I'm taking a lot of photos. This is just too scenic to miss out on all these shots. I think I saw that Alaskan truck sim, Martin. That's the one. It's just like My Summer Car but for trucks, right? If I remember correctly, I think it was Alex who shared the link in Discord for that. So yeah, I'm not sure if it will yield to anything, but it's just work in progress stuff. It's great to be able to at least have a voice in these things, even if the voice is maybe not going to be big enough yet. Oh my goodness, going a bit fast. In other news though, I did get something on my mail today. Huge thanks to Tino is his name. He is a developer of a paid plugin in Explain called XCPL Pilot. He actually reached out to me. I got an email from him a while ago. He gave me a copy of his plugin. It's an economy plugin. And I think his background is in business. So he really put in an economy system for Explain to simulate the costs, the jobs, the economy, and realistic prices and realistic expenses and income and all that stuff. Very nice progression. I tried it out. It looks very interesting. It rates your landing. It checks if you did the right things. Turning on the beacons before you started the engine. Taxiing with taxi lights. Landing with landing lights. Landing on the runway. Landing on the center line. Stuff like that. So it rates you. And then the better your rating, the more customers, the more jobs you get. And then you progress, earn money, buy your own plane. But everything is focused on the general aviation aspect. I think there is a limit on how big the planes can be. And the one of the first questions I asked him was, are you planning to develop this also for FS 2020? Because that's probably where I'll be in a few weeks from now for all my GA needs, for general aviation needs, for small planes, for those who are not familiar. And he actually has that in his like quick start, that that is the plan. Oh, see? That is so misleading, that traffic light. You have to be really familiar with it. I see green, I see go. But I like it. Very localized traffic lights. But yeah, he said he's planning on it, but it depends on how the SDK is. And for those who are not familiar what an SDK is, it's a software development kit. Basically, it's the tools that the developer gives, like Microsoft Asobo, they give to the plugin makers so that the plugin makers can do their own stuff. So it depends what that tool, if that tool will be powerful enough to implement all the requirements of his idea. But I think it will be. It's just a matter of time. It won't be there in release, but I'm sure it will be refined and it'll have capabilities. It's just too powerful a sin to be limited by a poor SDK. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And Tino is a very nice guy to work with. I've only been interacting with him for a very short time, but I can already see he's very responsive, very courteous, and very open-minded, very transparent with the process. So I like working with him. I hope he goes into FS 2020 and we can work together more. But it's great. So I'll try out XCPL Pilot more in the meantime while we're waiting for FS 2020. See how it looks. Get some practice, and I'll probably stream it on Wednesday for some more flight sim action before we jump into the new sim. I'm also not sure, Emil, how long they've worked with Flight Sim 2020. With that latest video though from Black Hawk, oh, I always forget the name of the company, the AI company. They said they've been working on it for 2 years, which is actually pretty short for me given the amount of progress they've done. Like, we know a lot of developers who have been working on stuff for years, and the progress is nowhere near that scale. So I think 2 years mapping out the entire world is such an achievement. And that just highlights the power of AI. My goodness, Skynet is becoming a thing. It's scary. It was you. It was you what? You have it. Oh, has it been released already, NL? Ah. Is that in early access already? Alaskan Truck Sim? Ah, you've heard of it, but you don't have it. Okay, I see. Catching up with chat. Sorry, I tend to be a bit chatty these days. Lots of things on my mind, and as you can see, as you can tell, these streams are a way for me to unload all of that. I'm really thankful that you guys are even trying to listen, that you are here, so I can unload some of them. You know, and hopefully you can unload some of that too in turn, so we can remain healthy from a mental point of view. Don't have to bottle things in. Don't have it and never will have it. I'm not sure, I can't judge it yet. Based on how it looks though, it looks more like a My Summer Car thing. So maybe quite exciting, but maybe not very much in line with my calm vibes. Maybe not so chill vibes, huh? Maybe more of adrenaline pumping trucking action. But we'll see. Maybe it's not the same as I assumed. Kumusta ka? Hey Ham! Kumusta? Hello Pinoy? Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. I'm going to continue speaking in English, if you don't mind, just so the others would understand as well. But thanks for joining. 2 years to map the whole world. Just a tad fast. Just a tad faster than SCS. But yeah, it really shows you the power of AI. But yeah, to be fair, they are very different scales. Like, you could look at it that way, but yeah, SCS needs to map the world in a more detailed way. Each and every chevron, each and every speed limit sign modeled in. I doubt that kind of satellite imagery would have that level of detail, right? Knowing what the signs should be. So we'll try it out when the new sim is here. But we'll try tracing a motorway, a highway. We'll try to go as low as possible, and we'll see how detailed it is. And I doubt there would be like speed limit signs and sign changes. So that's a valid excuse for SES. That kind of technology will not just work for them out of the bat. It can work in a limited manner, I guess, for the surrounding buildings, but for the road itself and the details that entails, I don't think it is enough. So they need some kind of AI, but not based on satellite images, but more like based on, I guess, Google Street View or something like that, interpreting the signs there and modeling that in 3D. SES has monopolized the truck sim industry. That's very true, though. That's why I would like a competitor to come in. That would I wouldn't say SES is getting complacent, like how Intel became complacent, but they definitely, I think, can be pushed a bit more towards progress, and that one can only happen if there's a competitor. So it's not like they're not working. I think they can just be pushed even farther. Ah, you're not a Filipino, but you know it. I'm impressed you actually know that phrase. And that's not even like the... Because I think if you look at the Tagalog word, it might be more... How do we say this? Kamusta ka? It's more of a... not the formal way, I guess, of talking. So if you just look for an official Tagalog translation, maybe that's not what it'll give you. That's why I assumed you were Filipino, because that's what we usually say in real life. He has no idea who they are. Is that a good or a bad thing? Hey Space Hunter, welcome back. Glad you made it. Early bird. Time's it there. 5:30? Wait, no. 6:30? Almost. 2 hours 30 minutes, right? To be fair, Microsoft is just slightly... That's true. Just a tad bigger. Yeah. With their servers and monstrous stuff. SCS should have the same graphics as FS 2020. That would be great. Alright, Emil, have a good night. Thanks for staying up and hanging out with us. Have a great weekend. Engine sounds, oh my goodness. Yeah, very true. They're certainly not complacent. I think they could just do with a competitor. They might not like it, or maybe they will, in a way. But yeah, that will for sure, that will ensure that they keep pushing to their boundaries. Don't let the bedbugs bite, indeed. Your computer teachers were Filipinos, that's how you learn. Ah, makes sense now. Nice. Rest on your laurels. There you go. Thank you. Hey, Freddy. Doing good, man. By the way, guys, for my patrons, first and foremost, thanks a bunch. Huge thanks to you for making it possible for me to continue exploring payware stuff, getting access to games, simulators that I normally wouldn't have access to. Thanks for supporting me in that way, and in turn I hope I can give back to you in the form of content. And yeah, I did an announcement a while ago. I shared it in my Patron, but Patron is now compatible with multiple currencies. I think US dollars, euros, and British pounds, British sterling. You get what I mean. But yeah, you can use that if you have a different, if one of those is your normal currency, then you can use that now. I think it will save you a couple of bucks instead of doing the conversion. I don't really know the details, but at the very least, you should see the localized currency now if it's compatible with you when you look at my page in Patreon. So exclamation point Patreon gets you there. Have a look if that changes anything on your end, and if that makes it more appealing to you. In other monetary news, I got an email from Twitch, and I just remembered because of the topic. I think there is a 20% discount for new subs. So if you were ever thinking of subbing, now would be a perfect time. And if you're a brave soul, you can try subbing right now. Let's see how it works, if it really discounts. Maybe someone will bite. But yeah, I wanted to share it for those of you who are thinking of subbing. And I assume this will only matter for those who are subbing using the paid method, not via Twitch Prime. Otherwise, it's free anyway. Thanks, Alex, for the links. How have you been, Freddy? What have you been up to? Have a good night, Ham. Thanks for dropping by. Shameless plug. Shameless is the right term. Why do the lights seem so weak? Oh, there you go. Nah, it's not that weak. Very nice clouds though, I must agree. Quite nice, and they're not too in your face. They're actually merging very well with the environment. One sec, guys. Let's see where we can sleep here. There is a rest area coming up ahead. That's great. I do want to explore some sceneries, so we can stop by there later. At least one of them. That's one of the recent updates by Team Reforma. I'm still amazed how they did that so fast. Idaho released in like a couple of days or a week after at most. Team Reforma released updates, and voila, it already had all those viewpoints as well, which is only implemented with Idaho. Super fast in all their maps. Hey Slider, how are you, man? Glad to have you back. Where have you been trucking these days? We are currently in Mexico. What time is it? My only major gripe with JBX graphics is the incompatibility with time zones. I had to turn off time zones. And it's not really a deal breaker, but it is a nice immersive factor. Especially, for example, in Idaho, where you have that salmon bridge where you cross into time zones. When you don't have time zones, that doesn't take into effect. So you lose a bit of immersion. It's not the end of the world, but it would be nice if it was there. Although JBX is very active in the YouTube channel, so he comments a lot on the JBX related videos. And someone asked about that, and he said unfortunately it won't be compatible. So I don't think he's planning on making it compatible with time zones at all. We'll need to gas up as well. We can probably drop by there. Not really urgent, so I think we can take probably that one, which is closer. Been trucking ATS Idaho and Mexico. Awesome. Great minds think alike. So, what are you guys excited about? What are you guys looking forward to? Either in gaming or in real life. If you ever had the urge to share, get something off your mind, now would be the time. Because I'm done with my monologue. I'm ready to listen. Sorry about that. I know not everyone's into flight sims. Not everyone is as excited as me. So feel free to let me know if you have other excitements going on. Wow, 85. Lots of bits indeed. Thanks, man. Why not 75? You're not being true to your brand. Thanks, Rohan. Oh yeah, very true. Bro wants 250. What area are you looking forward to driving the most? If I remember correctly, there are going to be updates in Germany, Poland, the Baltics, and the UK is what I remember. Others, I'm not sure if I've seen any other blog posts about any other places. 75. World peace. End of COVID. Yeah. Is there any news on the vaccine? My country, my home country, Philippines, we're not doing very well in terms of numbers. Philippines is now the number 1 country in Southeast Asia with the most number of cases. I'm not sure if it's also active cases, but most number of total cases. Sunrise is coming, so and the numbers are climbing, so it's not very good. And they are in lockdown in there again. Went back to lockdown because the medical community made a request. They are getting swamped over there, and they requested for a lockdown to taper down the numbers a bit. So yeah, really hoping for the end of this. Hang tight and support each other while this thing is ongoing. Inalize, remove 10 bits. I would rather he removes 10 frames and give those to me, because I need every bit of frame I can get. Poland is what you're looking forward to. Nice. I can't remember the exact places. I probably wouldn't be able to pronounce them anyway. But yes. I think I am excited about... yeah, it's hard. I would have said Poland and UK would be an even match, but I think in Germany there are some very nice changes as well. And those places I think are covered by our friend Scan720, who is now a ProMods member, ProMods developer. Plum, I think, is working on the UK. So yeah, it's hard to choose. Choose everything. I'm getting a bit of lag here. Netherlands is 100 days free of COVID. Wow. That is amazing. I'm envious. Here in Singapore, we have still hundreds of cases every day, but most of those are with the foreign domestic workers who are housed in dormitories where spacing is not very good, so lots of people get infected. But those numbers are actually proactive testing and mostly asymptomatic. So it's numbers, but not really numbers that are cause for medical concern, thankfully. And I think the government is on track for finishing all the tests in the dormitories by this week, by today I think. So hopefully once those are done and once we've tested all the people in the dorms, the numbers will suddenly drop, because it's like daily we have around 300 cases, and the cases from dorms are like almost all of them. The cases outside the dorms are like at most, well, mostly single digit, so 3, 5, things like that. So I'm hoping once the dorm counting is done, from 300 plus we go down to like single digit new cases. Am I going in the wrong route? Yes, I am. My goodness. Didn't notice that depending on which gate you choose, toll booth you choose, are actually led to a different exit. Yikes. Hey DT, welcome to the stream. Depressing viewer? No such thing. Thanks for joining. Glad you could join. How have you been? Now, how do we go from here? We'll have to go through the roundabout, seems like. Or can we also go left here? Yeah, that might work. We'll have to skip through that. So it will be more of a countryside drive. That's okay. Not really a countryside because it looks like still a highway. But okay. So let's take a detour. So what else are you guys looking forward to in terms of games, in terms of sims? Anything coming out in the horizon? Horizon, speaking of Horizon, isn't Horizon New Dawn, was it that game? That's a very famous console game which is I think now on PC or will be soon on PC. Anyone planning on getting that? I actually put it on my wish list, although I doubt I'll be able to play it because of hard drive constraints. I actually might need to buy a new SSD drive just to end all that fiddling around with the space. Having a hard time. Sorry to hear that, TT. If you feel like it would help you to get rid of something on your chest by sharing it, feel free. We're here for support. Play RDR2. I don't even have space. And I don't have 75. If you would give me some frames, I might. So yeah, when the 3000 series comes, I'll buy hopefully a 3080 Ti. I'll most likely need a new PSU, a new power supply, because my power supply is getting old and I don't think it meets the power requirements. I'll also buy a modular one this time because during the time when I bought this, I had no idea yet that there was a modular PSU, so that the cable management will be a lot easier. And I will most likely buy an SSD, a bigger SSD. Hey Muraz, been a while, how are you? Releases today, there you go. Anyone planning on playing that? I heard very good things about it from the console players. Might not be our audience here though, but I'm sure some people would be interested in that too. Got pissed off the last time. I actually can't remember that instance. Of course I can't remember. But hopefully you're feeling better. Hopefully not, but I wouldn't discount it. I have been known to enter into some disagreements with viewers. Hopefully nothing too serious though. But that's good. That is truck under the bridge. Which is what we were a couple of seconds ago. Go for it. No worries, Space Hunter. If you can hear this, no worries. Thanks for dropping by, and yeah, hang on tight. Tell your internet connection to do the same. If you can talk to it. Ruda. In Norway, there has been more infection because they have reopened the country. Yeah, that usually is very risky. When you reopen the country, economy gets back up a bit, but huge risk of inducing a second wave or succeeding wave. Nice. What graphics card did you get, Maraz? Congrats. I am super envious of you guys. I'm really starting to feel the age of my 1070. $2060 super awesome. You have a better graphics card than I do. 2060, if I remember correctly, is roughly equivalent to a 1070, but the 2060 super is one notch higher. Congrats. That should give you flawless 1080p gaming. My goodness, those speed bumps. Stop or else. 1 to 3 FPS from a 2070. Nice. Which, relating to 2070, I heard they discontinued the 2070 Super now, which might mean something. Hopefully that means that the 30 series cards will be on the same price as the 2070 Super, otherwise they would not have discontinued it. So maybe the 3060 will be a 2070 Super equivalent in terms of price, but better perf hopefully. It's just a slightly cut down 2070, yeah, that makes sense. And then the 2070 in turn got a Super version, which is a bit lower than a normal 2080. And the 2080 got a 2080 Super, which is very far from a 2080 Ti though. But yeah, Ti, different story altogether. Man, I love driving this truck. It just feels so smooth. Even if I'm driving it manual, don't feel any like unnaturalness at all. It just flows. Beautiful. 2072 Super is a 75 card. Proven, definitely in your books. Yes. You stop in this guy and run into the front of it. They say that should fix his car. Oh. You hit another car? Is that it? Oh yeah, that sucks, man. Hopefully it gets sorted out soon. Hoping for the best for you. 25, that's a bit weird. There's a toll. And then there's another toll. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Looking at you, lady. You just charged me double. That feels very familiar. Kabayan! Basta! Hey, Donut Lava. Donut Lava. Like the name. He hit you. My goodness, and then they're asking you to pay. Can the insurance not cover that? Take the headache away. Yeah, Morwaz, I would like an upgrade too, mainly for that as well. For FS 2020, because I think I will need it. Yeah, I think the 2080 Super and 2080 Ti are nowhere close, because there's like 2080 and 2080 Ti is somewhere here, and then the 2080 Super is just a tad above 2080. That's at least my impression. I didn't really study on it up a bit because I was not planning on upgrading. She looked like the Grey Mother. He got his money to fix his car. Now you need to fix your car. I see. Yeah, that's what sucks about driving. Dealing with real life people. Real life people who oftentimes don't drive in a very nice manner. Your 1070 will run MSFS and will run at high settings mostly. Whoa, yes! Although I am using 1440, so that probably sets me back down to medium. But hopefully the resolution will make up for it. And I'm kind of locked at 1440 because my monitor is 1440, and unfortunately that means if I go down to 1080 it's blurry because the monitor resolution isn't innately 1080, so there's a bit of pixel adjustment that happens that is very visible. So 1080 resolution for me sucks very hard in a 1440 monitor, which makes sense, I guess, if you're familiar with these things. But it's something that I did not take into mind before. 2060 Super and 1660s will be in production. 2070, 2080, and 2080 Ti have been discontinued. Okay, so that's very indicative of what those new graphics cards will replace, I guess. So the 3060 will probably match and beat the 2070, but will be on the same price range. And then 3070 will be for 2080, and then 3080 will be, I don't know, maybe it will not be matching. I doubt it will. Does anyone have rumors on how the 3080 will perform against the 2080 Ti? So not Ti versus Ti, but 3080 versus 2080 Ti. Notice the accent. Oh yes, that is my signature right there. Oftentimes I'd get comments in YouTube. Pinoy ka ba? Are you Pinoy? Yes. That's why you bought a 1080 monitor. Focus on the best 1080 you can afford instead. Yeah, that's very smart. In a AAA game, 1440 high frame rates should not be impossible, but for simulators in focus, that's a bit harder. But thankfully, well, hopefully, with FS 2020, it is a AAA game with hopefully AAA optimization as well. So hopefully my 1070 can do justice to 1440 res. Have a good night, Martin. Definitely. Catch you soon. Have a great weekend. Tried FSX on max settings, you got 14 FPS. Yeah, that's a very common story, especially in the flight sim world. That's why it's very encouraging what we're seeing in the videos of FS 2020, because we're getting AAA quality for a simulator, which is, I think, has never been the case. You would normally have to settle with very bad optimization, like in X-Plane, for example. We're getting now Vulkan, which is good for the GPU, but in terms of CPU, it's still mostly using a single thread, and so my Ryzen hates it. So not being able to utilize the Ryzen to its fullest. $44 panel. Here we go with the double payment again. Something fishy in these roads. Some kind of padding in the price. My goodness, these ladies. I'm sure they know what they're doing. You found the guy with the 6700K and normal 1660. And ran the simulator in high settings at 30 to 40. Nice. I'm very worried how, yeah, my rig will perform when there's like heavy weather. Clouds is the main thing I'm worried about, because clouds are mostly GPU powered and GPU is my main bottleneck. Assuming the sim can utilize multiple threads in the CPU, GPU is going to be my limiting factor. And clouds are normally very heavy on the GPU, lots of computations, so I hope they really found a way to optimize it. Case in point, Xenviro, the freeware volumetric clouds in X-Plane. They're super heavy on frame rate, my GPU cannot handle them. $3080 will be 20% faster than 2080 Ti. Oh, is that the one? I see. Okay, then I'm sold. I'm sold. My goodness, because 2080 Ti is such a powerful card. SLI on FS 2020. I haven't heard of it. I think the SLI days are coming to, well, I'm not sure if it's going back, but recently it's gone. Because we have so much powerful single cards, there has not been a use to have dual cards and have limited compatibility. That's what I understand about it. Have a good day, DT. Hope you feel better soon. And yeah, hoping you find some nice fix to your car that costing an arm and a leg. 3600X 4.4, 16 gig RAM, 2060 Super. We have very close specs. Yeah, I have a 3700X, 16 gig, 3200 RAM, 1070 GTX, so I think more or less we have similar performance. Let's go and compare notes once the sim is out. Yeah, they rewrote most of it. Which is, I think, a fortunate thing, because I think FSX did not have the best flight model around. And now that they rewrote it, I think it's very much comparable to X-Plane. I think X-Plane has the best flight model, basing on the inputs from real-life pilots and whatnot. One YouTuber I follow, Flight Tech to Sim, is a real Boeing 737 captain. And he was previously in another sim. I'm not sure what it was. Was it P3D or FSX? But he moved to X-Plane because he liked the flight model so much. I'm gonna tell Jay you have an NVIDIA card now. You said you'd never get one. Oh my goodness. Anyone excited for Big Navi? New AMD cards? I watched a video from Jay's 2 cents. My goodness, what am I getting? Should not be anything. Must be some weird bonding boxes in here. Okay. Strange. Let's keep it straight, maybe. Will that will work? No. 3000 series cooling system. Why? What was the issue with it? GPU too strong to get proper cooling. Gonna aim to buy AMD again next year if they prove to be good. RDNA 3, not 2. 2 is the one that's coming soon, right? Which they say is like 15% better than 2080 Ti, if I remember correctly. Hey HUD, welcome back. How have you been? I am fumbling, not really parking. Just made a stop here to refuel. We'll get on our way again. We are still in Mexico somewhere, making our way back to the US of A. It's Bayware. Model is good, but very heavy on the frames. So I had to lower my anti-aliasing settings. Getting more jagged edges, but the price is worth it. It's a great truck. Feels really good, looks really good. A classic through and through. Something about their design doesn't look right. Are you basing it just on looks? Or were there reports of thermal problems altogether? Adjust that a bit. There you go. You have overclocked at 9%. Wow. Nice, you're a brave soul. Wouldn't even dare to overclock mine because I have a pretty basic starter 1070. Doesn't have, this has basic cooling, 2 fans, nothing else. Just eyeballing it. A very scientific analysis, huh? here. Gigabyte WindForce OC. 76 or well 79, but never more. Right, same with me. Mine hits around 79, 80 at most. And it either throttles that already, or it's just that is the hottest it will go, one way or another. But yeah, I have a monitor here on the... I monitor my temperatures here on the other monitor. And when it gets to 80 degrees, the yellow, the bar becomes yellow, so I am aware. Sometimes it reaches that when it's very heavy. It's your first gigabyte product ever. You ran fan at 100%. Ah, interesting. My fan is running now at 78% based on these stats. And it's actually running at 2400 RPM already. I found that for me, setting the fans at 100% don't really cool the GPU more. I guess there is like a diminishing returns there. So I just let it cool its own thing. I don't play GTA 5. That's why I drive so slow. I get a lot of comments that way. Why do you drive so slow? You play GTA too much, is what I would say. Nah. Congrats, HUD. Awesome, how well did you do? Did you know you were going to pass, or was it more of a let's leave it to fate thing? Quite a big achievement, I can imagine. Goodness. Now you can forget about it. Just kidding. But yeah, that surely trained your brain. That's the thing with school. Many people say schooling, you know, you take up all these subjects that don't really have a practical purpose. And Chinese would have a practical purpose for sure, but it depends on what you do really. So some of these subjects you won't really ever apply in your life, which seems like a waste of time. But from the other side, it actually trains your brain how to study. It like exercises your brain on how to come up and store information. It trains you how to learn in general. So even though that particular topic itself doesn't teach you anything, or does not let you apply anything you learned, for the next time when you do really need to learn something, you'll still be able to apply those learning skills. So yeah, I don't think it's ever wasted. Am I on the wrong way? Why do we have two roads here? No, I think we really have two roads. Okay, good. Based on the sign. It's a very interesting road. You did not have finals this year. How did that go, by the way? They canceled the finals and just computed the grade based on what you currently have to avoid further interaction, risk of exposure, things like that. Tunnel hype. Just those grades, I see. Yeah, the work ethic. It's very nice. You learn how to study hard. And when you do find something that you really are interested in, you can apply those same habits and you'll get very far. Although of course it would be best if you found it in the first place, and studied that in the first place, but you don't hit a home run every time. and we work with what we have. That looks majestic. Very frame heavy. Even my mouse is lagging. But that does look amazing. Let's take a shot there. Just proper field of view. Like so. I love those clouds. JBX for the win. Thumbnail shot. Speaking of driving fast, yesterday you were driving on the Oregon 140 into Nevada, liberating when the speed limit became 70 from 55. Ah, yes. That's very true whenever you're driving from California to somewhere else. Once you get outside the state, it's like, ooh, finally. Yes. Yes, definitely taking a photo. Truck looks pretty good indeed. Definitely worth the price and the frames. Finally run the game at max settings again. Nice. Congrats. Do you have any plans of upgrading again once the 3000 series arrives? Or are you waiting for AMD, the RDNA 3 thingy? This red line, if I remember correctly, you guys told me is the runaway truck lane. That's the one. Rampa de frenado. So when you lose your brakes, you go up there. So you slow down by gravity. Now this one has a viewpoint. Let's go and check it out. Oh my goodness, I think I will love this shot. I would bet this is off that bridge. No worries, Donut. We are delivering lumber from Mexico to somewhere in the US. I think to Vegas, to Reno, to Nevada rather. It works. Some of the viewpoints don't work. Ponte Boluarte. Don't we have that in the Philippines as well? That sounds so familiar. Beautiful shot there. ATS runs at 100 FPS. Oh my goodness. Time to add some mods back in. Hey Chimsy, welcome to the stream. Epic driving skills. Wait till you see the clumsy moments. Road trip quarantine edit. You still drive 60 on a 55? Why not? Keep this through next year. Yeah, I think it's doing everything it needs to do for you already. Can happily wait for an upgrade for a couple of years. Would love to learn Hokkien. There's no standard Hokkien in Singapore available in government schools. So where can you learn it? In private schools? Or like in outside private institutions? If you know how to speak Mandarin, does it make it easier to speak Hokkien? Like, is it a good... I'm not sure how the effort would be. Because I guess many of the principles would hold true. Man, this is an amazing looking bridge. It's a bit laggy. Yeah, this place has always been laggy if I remember correctly. I'm losing tons of frames here, my goodness. Getting rendering lag. Yeah. Encoding lag and whatnot. Hold on tight, guys. We'll get through this eventually. Have a good night, NL. Don't let the bedbugs fight. Catch you soon. Have a nice weekend. Yeah, it's amazing. ATS is amazing for relaxing. And now where we are, when we are mostly confined to our homes, virtual travel is something that we will definitely appreciate more. I'm actually talking with Mrs. Clumsy already. I'm asking her already to think of where she wants to go. Because even though in real life we won't be able to travel anywhere this year, most likely, we can at least travel virtually, especially in Flight Sim. We'll fly there, we'll fly to the places we've been to, I told her, and we'll fly to the places you want to go and explore. And she sounded pretty excited for it too. So we'll probably have a flying date somewhat. I'll see how it works. Mandarin definitely makes the other Chinese languages dead simple. Ah, I see. That's good to hear. Would it be simpler enough that you can like DIY it? Like use an app instead of getting formal education to learn Hokkien? Policy of suppressing the dialects. Yikes. Yesterday, Drive 60 on an AT. Ah, I see. I get you now, Maraz. Stream with like 1,000 people on it. The streamer basically was only able to respond to like 1 out of 20. Yeah, definitely. That's one of the main problems that big streamers have. Well, I guess it's a good problem to have, but it does limit the interaction. I mean, even I have a hard time keeping up sometimes. And how many viewers do we have, right? So multiply that by how many. But yeah, I guess when it comes to those big streamers, the experience is definitely something different. Like really watching the streamer more than interacting with them. And interacting with others, I guess, more like. This area of Mexico Extreme has always been laggy. I agree. I hope they upgrade it. I hope they remake it, optimize it. I'm not sure if they're planning to though. But yeah, that's one of my, how do you say, I guess you could say pet peeves. Because I don't like to plan things. I just want to get into the game and go anywhere where the job takes me. Like just go pick a random job. And that's why I usually pick map mods that focus on quality versus quantity. Because even if there are only a few locations, I'm sure wherever I go would be great. And Team Reforma has been mostly like that. Unfortunately, yeah, they have some areas which are older. And so these older areas I try to avoid. So I cannot really go full on, go anywhere with that point of view because I have to avoid some areas when I don't want lag. So I hope they rebuild it just for my sake. How selfish is that? Looks like mountains in the center of the map, like Sinaloa to Durango. Ah, yeah, I think you're right. I do love the windy roads though. It's just quite laggy, but it looks so great. Simple enough that you can self-study. I see. Materials don't exist for Hokkien. Very unpopular language to learn. Ah, I see. That's interesting. Yeah, I guess Mandarin is used more often, huh? Well, at least in China. Where is Hokkien used more? In the Philippines. I think the Chinese we use. The Filipino Chinese use Hokkien mostly. And I think in Taiwan as well. Is it? You had to uninstall Reforma's Mexico maps because this one looks a bit dated. It looks great, but yeah, definitely heavy on the frames. Overtake. I can try. Not going to go very far though. Some modders just go ham and don't seem to think about being able to run on less than 2080 Ti. Yeah, I think it's mainly because many of these modders are not modelers, if you get what I mean. So they basically source their 3D models from somewhere else. And most of the time, these people who create 3D models, and they don't really make them for games, or maybe they do but not for this game specifically. I doubt they're for games, so they're more for, I don't know, renders or something. But yeah, when you put it in the context of a game, it has to be at a certain level of optimization. And yeah, unfortunately, we don't have many of those people who know how to model with gaming from a gaming point of view. So we get these very high quality models that cost an arm and a leg in terms of frame rates. We need more people like XBS. Any news from XBS, by the way? I have not been tuning to the forums as much. Not sure if he's been teasing any other new trucks. I'm sure he has not released anything, otherwise I would have heard it from Alex and from other folks. But I'm not sure if he teased anything since. Part that connects Mexico Extremo to the base ATS map. Yeah, Viva Mexico is very old. I also try to stay away from those areas oftentimes because they're quite dated. So yeah, I hope we get like a revamp eventually. It's bad if your PC has trouble running this. That's very true. My PC is no pushover. It's not top of the line, but it's definitely not pushover. So I should be getting like 60 frames at least. Although I'm at 1440, so that's also part of the equation. I'm sure at 1080 it's a different story. But yeah, with 1440, just get that next level of crispness. And coming from a 1080 resolution, I can definitely notice that. So it's going to be very hard for me to go back. Especially like in Flight Sim, moving from 1080 to 1440 is amazing because you need all the small details in the cockpit. When you need to have the detail of the dials in each of the numbers, the small numbers, at 1440 those look so much more crisp. So I can only imagine from 1080 to 4K jump how more crisp that can get. School open since June. Where are you from again, Chimsy? Thanks for following, by the way. Appreciate it. XBS has been posting pics of his Freightliner on the forums. Nice. And I bet that's another classic, right? XBS is a classic fan. Sleep again over there if we can manage. If we cannot, well, tough luck, because there doesn't seem to be anywhere. Next one would be that one. Driving during sunsets, yeah, definitely. Sunrise and sunsets are very nice in the game, especially if you have graphics mods. The default game doesn't look anywhere near like this though. I have tons of mods to improve the visuals and the audio, so that takes it to another level of immersion and beauty. But it's not bad, the default, and it's very optimized on the frames. So if you're starting out, I highly recommend staying with the default. Don't get into mods yet, and only drive the default until you're fed up with it, until you start craving for something. Like, oh, I wish the clouds looked better. I wish the lighting was better. I wish we had more trucks. And as the need arises, you start looking for mods and adding that in one by one. Don't go all out adding mods at the same time, because it's, oh crap, yeah, we can't reach that. It's going to be overwhelming if you add them all at once. So proud of your 1080 decision. Well, glad it works for you. For me, I'm very happy with my 1440 decision. No turning back for me. And that's the great thing. can all have our own choices. Our minister was boasting about how there wasn't a single transmission in schools, but then the next day there was one. Luckily till today that's the only one so far. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good achievement, taking into consideration that you guys have to be physically there from time to time, like every other week, is it? That's actually a great achievement, having no or minimal cases as a result. So huge props to the officials who are involved in maintaining the social distancing and safety measures. LG, it's a very good brand. Nice. Freightliner FLC, early 80s model. Cool. Oh, the shine on the cab is quite different, huh? This is actually a wood texture, but at night it feels chromy. Interesting. You actually get a very different feel now at night. I like it. Looks much more modern, like Terminator type. Feels like we're in a submarine or something. Is it common for Filipinos to have family all over the country? All over the country. Maybe not all over. Usually we would have like a home area, and if that home area is outside the capital, then most of the time you would have people from those two places, the home province and then Manila, because many people would stay in Manila, the capital, for jobs and would live there. But there would always be like a province. Like for me, I live in the Manila area. I lived there most of my life, but we do have a province somewhere to the north. So that's usually how it goes. You try to add mods all at once. That time when you first started playing, you can imagine it didn't go well. Got it right after like 10 tries. So proud it stuck to promos 241 till 245 came out and you upgraded. Yeah, going for a big bang approach, not very advisable, especially if you're new. But once you get used to it, it's kind of, yeah, you kind of understand it more, how things work, which is like in most of the other stuff. And I see it's fully wood, but at night it becomes Terminator. Goodness. Since you have very limited resources, 1080 will mean you will need to upgrade less. Yeah, that's a good decision. That will keep your budget in check. Because that's very true. Going to higher resolutions means upgrading the rest of your rig as well to support that. I'm sure I want a bigger monitor, so I'm happy with this purchase. But I'm not sure if I would have been happier to get a 4K, because focusing on simulation, I don't really need that like 144 FPS. So high refresh rate is not really something I would probably... It's nice to have, but probably not the target, especially for like flight sims where 30 FPS is actually very fortunate to get that already. 60 is an added bonus, so anything over is just a dream. So I was thinking maybe I should have gotten a 4K 60 FPS monitor instead of a 1440 144. But I got this now, so I guess I can sell it eventually if I change my mind. But yeah, for simulation I think 4K, I don't know if I would even notice. I mean, I don't have a big monitor. I have a 27-inch main monitor now when I upgraded. Not even sure if I go to 4K if I will notice it. But if I went from 1080 to 1440 and I did notice, I'm thinking if I go from 1440 to 4K, I would definitely still notice. I'm not sure. But yeah, that's what I've been thinking of recently. Maybe I should have gotten a 4K 60 monitor. And if I got a 4K monitor, then going back to 1080 would be much more native, right? Because the number of pixels is completely perfectly divisible by 4. So the scaling with the monitor is going to be more native and less blurry than if I go to 1080 from this 1440 monitor. So yeah, that's where I would be. That's where I am having second thoughts. Luzon looks small. Still hundreds of times larger than Singapore. Yeah. We have one city, Quezon City, I think it is the same size. One city is the same size as the entire Singapore. Now you're used to it, you upgrade as soon as the mods come out. Yeah, that's usually the way to go. So you don't pile up all the updates, you can do them one at a time and it's not as overwhelming. Which is also, yeah, very true to real life. If you take things one step at a time, they don't look that daunting. They are much more manageable. So yeah, truck sim apparently is more than just trucking. In some cases, it's like real life simulator as well. At least in some principles that you use. A very small cheap Prism 1080. I also have a Prism monitor because that's a local brand, right? Very affordable, very practical. That's the 1440 monitor I got, Prism Plus. Very nice. No frills. Asus is introducing new large 4K monitors, 120. Goodness, HDMI 2.1. I would bet that costs like a video card. Singapore's 100 times better. Very different picture there. You will notice a difference between 1440 and 4K. My goodness, should have gotten that. Well, put it on the list. Right. I have the same thing with my monitor, Marwaz. It's technically FreeSync, but it's G-Sync compatible. Good thing we're getting those nowadays. So you don't have to buy into the entire G-Sync branding, which has a separate hardware inside the monitor. You have a relative who's working in Manila, telling you that it's fun. Yeah, once you get used to it, I mean, safety is always a factor, but you get used to it. Just have to be very aware of your surroundings and don't go into dark areas, stuff like that. But it's not as dangerous as people think of it. It's just not completely safe, as I would say, which is, I guess, very true anywhere you go. Well, almost anywhere. There are some exceptions. But yeah, it's super fun, definitely. Most fun days of working were when I was still working in Manila, because of the colleagues I have in the work environment. It's just very fun and laid back. Yes, work gets stressful at times, but after a work day, there would oftentimes be, especially on a weekend or a Friday or during salary day, payday, we often get together and grab a drink or two. Well, mostly 10. But fun times. Filipinos are normally very laid back, not as serious as other nationalities, which is, I would say, a very good trait to have. Makes us very resilient to when hard things come. We can make things lighter than they are. A very positive outlook in life, and just an overall, in general, positive thinker. What the heck am I hitting? Weird. Hey Rolo, how are you, man? Somewhere in Mexico. Guamochil. Guamoquil? Don't ask me. Somewhere over here. If you sit in a tank. Why not? PewDiePie. Is he from there? I see. Si, senor. I worked in IT. Well, I still work in IT. Actually, still work for the same company. I just moved here. Getting out Google Maps for this. Let's see what the map says. Wasabi. Yeah, that should be enough for Google Maps to get something. Slow down. This looks very similar to a place in the Philippines I know of. Oh, this feels very familiar to me. That bridge, then coming across it, you find all these buildings on the side. Web dev, nice. UX designer. Very exciting industry to be in. Yeah, I think being a web developer is more, how do you say, practical in some ways, because my main, let's say, main gripe about my line of work is I work in a more enterprise environment. So most of the things I work with, people outside the enterprise, the corporate world, can't really relate to it. So it's very hard to explain what I do, and it's very hard for people to relate to them, and it's very hard for me to apply what I know in the outside world. Like as a web developer, I can imagine it's very easy to like relate what you do to others, like just have them go to somewhere, a website that's very close to what you do, and they'll get a picture, and you can apply those skills to make websites on your own, stuff like that. For me, the skills I learned, I would not be able to apply them for my own because they're only applicable in an enterprise environment, in the system that I know how to work with. So that's a bit of a regret that it's very niche, very specific. It doesn't have much use outside. Although for sure the soft skills I can apply, but the actual technical skills, not so much. Hey, thank you for following. Appreciate that. Feel free to say hi in chat, join us, so we can greet you, give you a proper welcome. All in your own time though. Feel free to lurk. No worries at all. Welcome back, Rohan. Any more screenshots you came up with? 47 hours to go in the job. My goodness, why? I hope that's just a calculation bug from Mexico. Squeeze in. Give way, please. Thank you. Oh, that's sharp. That's sharp. Phew. I think I was on the border of tipping over there. Okay. Good news is there is no speed limit. Alright, so it's one of those buggy thingies. It's an interesting looking trailer. container that's like a low deck thingy. Hey, Love Juice. Thanks for following. Appreciate that. Welcome to the channel. How are you? Are you a trucking fan as well? A simulator fan? There are penalties involved. When there is a police car nearby, you'll get a huge penalty and you'll hear some sirens ringing, but they don't actually put you in prison or anything. You just get a pop-up with the penalty, thankfully. Otherwise I would have been stuck there for a long time already. Because we do have many of these clumsy moments. Goes to Mexican jail. This might become a prison break series very soon if that happens. It's okay, no chance of overtaking here. Let's merge back. Don't worry, you'll see it soon, Donut. You'll see that soon. What happens when you bump into someone. Feels like we are approaching a city. Sonora. Bienvenidos a Sonora. Doesn't look like we need to slow down though. Okay, it's passing through. My summer car put you in prison and you have to be there for like 10 hours real time. That game. Oh, that's why I never played that game. I would never survive it. I would rage quit so hard. He has to haul a big boat, Mexican big boat. Oh my goodness, the nightmares are coming back. Please no. I forgot about how hard that was already. I remember I had to really go through an ordeal there. But the details I have forgotten, thankfully. But I just remember it was one heck of an experience. One that I have no plans of repeating anytime soon. So I think I'll leave it with that memory. Let's turn off track IR for a moment. Doesn't sound good. Somehow I doubt that. Very easy, no problem at all. It doesn't seem to match with the vestiges of my memory. Let's give a bit more clearance here and cutting it too close to this car. Navo. I forgot how they pronounce J. Navojoa? Who knows? You've not done it yourself, but your cousin can't help himself. Ended up in prison last time because... Goodness. That for real? My goodness. No, you can't. Thankfully not. Otherwise, we would get like an M18 rating. There are some like people who cross the road depending on the map you get. Fidgety cars here. But thankfully you just like drive over them in case you try. No real harm done. Hey Freightliner. How are you? Welcome back. If that's 10 hours IRL, yeah, those would be like, what, more than 3 sessions of streaming? Or maybe just leave it in the background while you sleep. Guy ran into the tractor that was standing still and died. Goodness. Hope that's not the case. Very fidgety cars here. Oh, there's still that interesting looking trailer. En viaje. I will file to have a day off at work on Tuesday on the 18th. Maybe also on the 19th, we'll see if I still have days off. So I will need to focus on something. You guys probably know what that something is. Can your driver eat, drink, or something? Unfortunately not, they can only sleep. And the default behavior, oh, you can't even see it here. You see that bar with like it's a bit covered by chat. You see that bar with the 67 mph, the 7h, all those icons? Normally there would be a bed icon in there as well, which would indicate how tired your driver is. And for a number of hours you can drive, but then their driver will get tired, and if you don't do anything, your driver will start to black out, and you'll get these like black screens for a couple of seconds, and you don't know when your driver wakes up where you end up, so you have to sleep by then. So, but yeah, it becomes it's a nice aspect of the game, but after some time you kind of get sick of it, like just want to drive and sightsee. So by now I just disabled it. Thankfully there's just a checkbox you can turn on and off. Yeah, but yeah, I've had some funny instances of that before. Funny when it's in the sim, in real life not so funny. Thankfully we stick to the sim. What car I drive in real life? I don't drive in real life, at least not anymore, because Singapore has very expensive cars. Not practical at all. So yeah, I don't drive. That's why I get my driving fix by being in the sim. Back in the Philippines I did drive, but I mostly drove what my dad bought. So drove family cars mainly. Flight sim delirium. Yeah, and now I can't make an excuse because I made the mistake of telling my colleague about the sim, because my colleague is an avid drone videographer. He has some amazing drone footages. He went to like Hawaii, to Iceland. He went to Hawaii to film the volcanoes using his drone. So he's like a hardcore drone videographer. And when I saw that video I shared in the Discord about Flight Sim 2020 becoming a great tool for photographers, he was the first person I thought of, because he would be able to use that for planning. He would literally be able to fly over anywhere in the sim, see if he likes that, and then go there in real life to take real footage using his drone. So I told him I'm so excited for it. So he knows about it now if he didn't before. And I think he will be able to easily connect the dots on the 18th. Why is he out of office? And he said he was sick. So I think I'll really have to file for a day off and cannot take a sick leave. I shot myself in the foot there. I was too excited, I forgot to plan ahead. You can time the sleeping to just drive at daytime. Oh, in ATS is that possible? I wasn't able to discover the secret ingredient there. At some point I just the time when you have to sleep in the daytime just intersected so much, I just got rid of it in the end. Hey Ace Dude, welcome to the stream. There you go, as Alex has mentioned. Thank you. Hey Teso. Yes, same answer. Thanks Alex. Helps me a ton. Clumsy's doctor's excuse for work absence. Oh, I read that already, sorry. You drive a used Ford Crown Vic. I think it's a bit familiar to me. can't quite place how it looks though. Look how detailed this is. Even the sticker on the glass there, on the lower left. Oh, you can see it there. It says Freightliner and some other model numbers and whatnot. The attention to detail is immense. Very much worth the frame loss you get with a complicated model. Though of course it doesn't stop me from wishing it was more optimized. You have like 13 hours of driving, only 11 in. Ah, okay, it's different, I see. Didn't know they had different timings. It's the car police has in the US. It's a bit more box type, is it? I think I can imagine how it looks. Yeah, and taxis too. Popular among some to buy used cop cars. Ah, is that a thing? Interesting. So if there's no speed limit here, that means I can actually push it, right? 80 miles per hour. So I think that's going to change soon. And now we're down to 50 again, dang it. And now I'm at risk of getting a ticket if someone drops by and catches me. "34 hours." Wow. Time traveling. Have you guys seen the Tobii Eye Tracker 5? I saw the video review from Wombat, very honest review. So I think Tobii sent him a unit. And I actually like the improvement. So the Tobii Eye Tracker 5 is the next step from the 4C, Tobii Eye Tracker 4C. I think the 4C is what I have, what Tobii sent me before. And it was a bit clunky at times, especially if you have a mic in front of you. I think there is still that problem, so it doesn't work with my setup. But assuming you don't have anything that blocks your face in the camera, from what I've seen from Wombat's video, it looks very smooth. Like, almost like Track IR. From Wombat's comment, he actually says it's like the best head tracker he has already. Like, he's tried. And that's saying a lot, because Track IR is like zero latency like this. So having something that doesn't require any paraphernalia that you wear, that's something. Although he did say in the end of the video that it's not worth it because it's too expensive. But if you have money to spare, then that might be a viable thing. They're happy to see that they're continuing on improving it, because the 4C was a bit limited in capacity. It was a good start, but it could have done a lot of improvements. Happy to see that they're continuing those improvements and they're getting to that point now. Very nice. They made 1 billion of them, so spare parts should be easy and cheap. Ah, about the Ford Crown Vic, I see. Yeah, the 4C, a lot of people hated it. The 5 looks like it's completely different now in terms of performance. So that's very promising. It's just super expensive though, from what Wombat said. But getting there. $500, my goodness. I'm sure you won't. Yeah, I think a lot of people who got burned with 4C won't get into the 5. But yeah, it's good that they're progressing and they're working on something, on those improvements. We'll see how that progresses. Maybe in the next iteration they can make it even better at a fraction of the cost. We'll see. Auxilio, I think. Yes. Now I have no idea where that is in relation to everywhere else, but should be more to the north. Yes, I know. Very descriptive. Hey, Crazy. How are you, man? Been a while. Welcome back. Been busy with some skins recently. Yeah, the track IR is very reliable. It's yeah, it just works. With the Tobii Eye Tracker 4C, it works, but you know, some settings, some conditions have to be met. But if those are met, then it's great. But yeah, that's the problem. It's hard to come up with those conditions every time, so many users are having problems. Oi, 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 oi. Traffic light, apparently. Forgot. No worries, man. No rush. Only when you have spare time and you get bored. Did not help one bit. Yeah, I have not installed my eye tracker as well, because yeah, it doesn't work with my setup at all. Huge mic in front. The camera doesn't really like that. Alright, Chimsy. Have a good night. Catch you next time. Thanks again for the follow. Appreciate it. You have time, you just forgot. No problemo. Thanks, man. Actually, I keep changing trucks, so no problem. It's very hard to make paint jobs for me, because by the time the paint job is finished, I probably would have switched to a different truck already. Because I mostly follow where the sound mods go. When there's a nice sound mod that it's released, expect that that truck I would be getting into very soon. Hashtag blame Krishboom. This is why I drove with a crap Veco couple of months back. Don't try to use that updated P16 Real 3D logos mod with Sierra Nevada. Some strange building in Sacramento. Did it get updated? Is P16 back? Yeah, I've not been keeping up with the forums. I've only been looking at the active topics and the first page or so. I didn't know that it got updated. Oi, there you go. Second gear. Someone on Facebook updated P16s. Ah, okay, someone took over, I see. Trejon was on radio 538. I think I saw that from Sven's announcements on Discord. Although I think it's a Dutch radio station, is it? So they were speaking in Dutch? Refill my water somehow. Let me think if I can multitask this. First, turn off track IR. Get this CG tumbler next to me. We're going very slow here. Radio 538 is totally Dutch. Ah, there you go. Greetings from Holland. Hey, Sting Lion. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining and thanks for that input. Okay. Maybe you guys, if you guys had a chance to listen to it, maybe you can share what was shared. They were talking about how big the map was. Remind me again, Trejon is 1:1, right? If I remember correctly. Really enjoyed that map. Really looking forward to updates for it. hands-free driving, not very healthy or safe. Don't do this at home, guys. Getting there, pouring it down. Almost there. Okay, my mug is refilled. That's one step done. Taking it bit by bit so we don't have to pause the game. Trying to read it. Of course I have no chance of doing so. The Dutch phrase. Yeah, what time is it? 4:23? Goodness. I would be awake by now in your time. Yesterday I actually woke up very early. I'm not sure why. It's very weird. I woke up like 2:30. Was not able to sleep since. Thank goodness the following night I was able to catch up with the sleep. But yeah, it's very weird. Must be all the excitement floating around. Hey, my summer car lover. Hey, look at that. We were just talking about that game in its hardcoreness. Welcome to the stream. Mexico indeed. About 2.5 hours you're able to say good morning. You can say it now. Is that now? How? Yeah, that's I guess one question for you guys. I think it's a cultural thing. How do you guys greet each other? For example, it's I guess you would greet each other in your local tongue for sure, but roughly translated, if you say good evening to someone at 7 p.m, you probably say good evening also at 10 p.m. But how would you greet that person come 12 a.m, 12 midnight, 1 a.m, 3 a.m? Is it still good evening or is it already good morning? Because in the Philippines, we say good morning. When it's AM, we say good morning. Even if the sun is not out and stuff like that. Tacos, there we go. Took a while, Jack, but we're there. Finally. In 1.5 hours. Okay, so you say good morning already. Also in AM. Okay, so maybe it's not cultural thingy. I see. I'm asleep by now. Makes sense. I would be as well. South of Mexico from Canada. Yeah, you'd need map mods, but that can be a thing. Let me show you what I have at the moment. So we have all these areas in the Americas. The northernmost one we have for now is Bellingham, north of Washington. That's part of the Washington DLC by SCS, by the developers. There is something being developed in Canada. I'm assuming this is Canada, right? By ProMods team. I'm not sure how far that covers, but I'm sure this area is covered. So that goes farther north. You have stuff in between, and then you have some map modders taking care of the Mexico area. So it is getting quite populous, although you can see a lot of gaps still, huge gaps. Depending on the mod you have, you can cover that, like coast to coast or things. The power of mods. Hey Kirkelman. When you meet, it's good evening. When you leave, it's good night. Okay, it's the same. Alright, I see. But even at like 3 a.m, you would say good evening and good night? Or does it change to good morning? Born in Russia, but you've lived in Holland for a while. I think Dutch accent is something I have a hard time distinguishing. like you can hear that they're not, so you can like eliminate some accents, like definitely not American, not English, not French. Maybe the closest would be, oh maybe not also German accent. Maybe a bit closer, but not really. I'm sure you guys would be more familiar with those different accents when they speak English, when you speak English. How about you guys? If you were to compare or say which accent would be the closest to a Dutch accent when you guys speak English? At rate would be good morning. I see. Okay, so same. Alright. Makes sense. Dutch is one of the hardest languages to learn. I think so too. Together with Finnish and stuff. That's why you usually speak English or German. Yeah, still cannot place the accent. Bienvenido. Dutch in English would be flat German, but for real it would. What is flat German? First time I heard that description, flat. Is that like the basic German, the German? So I guess there would be like Swiss German, Belgian German. Is there a Dutch German as well? And I think this one is Viva, Mexico area already. Or I guess we've been in it for a while. Quite framey all throughout, but we are getting close to other roads now. Getting closer and closer to the border. German and Dutch have a lot in common. And yeah, flat German is the basic German language. I see, okay. I see. Alright, I get the term now. I can start using that, thank you. It helps. When the army freed you, you already could talk English. Americans complimented you for it. Yeah, history-wise, that's interesting. So you learned already how to speak English. How? Because of the English? Are there like large influences of British influence in there? And this, sorry, I'm pretty clueless when it comes to European history. Well, actually, history in general is very hard at. Even my own country's history, I'm very poor. I always kind of like drifted off, or maybe it's the goldfish memory, forgetting the events and stuff. I saw a train, I think. It's gone now though. My goodness, these guys are very slow in this lane. Fair enough, there's a speed limit. What truck are you driving right now, Alex? Can't remember which one you shared last. Blah is driving a DAF. A Frankenstein DAF, I think. I'm not sure what he did with it. What truck are you guys driving at the moment? Your queen was in London during the war though, so that could mean... Ah, I see. Yeah, could be, I guess. That would mean a lot. Mac Anthem 4x2. Ah, yeah, I think I remember you sharing that. Rohan was in a horse. Literally 1 horsepower. I lost my gear. My goodness, this guy. I think we'll have to overtake him. That's what happens when you crash into someone. Not what I planned, but we could say I was trying to demonstrate it for Donut, if he's still here. My bad. Rage crash. If only Mac built planes. Oh yeah. Bulldogs with wings. Why are these guys so slow? And there's no speed limit. Driving your... What is ZZ Scania S? Is that a modder? I think I've seen that before. Switched from Mac Anthem to Beat Viper 2389. Oh, that's a great truck. I love the old interior in that truck. Looks very close, like in terms of feel, to this Freightliner Classic. And it's night again, my goodness, how fast that is. Is there a rest area nearby? There is, okay. Although it's on the other side, so maybe that won't be good for us. We can try. If it doesn't work, we can always turn in here, or... Yeah, I think it's good we cross over here. That's the border already, I think. Five, 6, 7. Is that a Peterbilt? I'm very confused with these numbers. Traditionally, Dutch are a trading nation, so when going to high school, already had to learn English, German, and French. I see. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, very practical. Better check before you pass someone. Why? Why do you need that? 10 hours jail now. Please no. Catch you guys in the next 3 streams. Now I can't sleep there, but I'll have to cross somewhere here, which I don't think would be nice. You know what? I think I'll just cheat it a bit here, because I do want to cross over here in daytime so we get a nice view. It is... Where's the clock? Is that the one? 8 p.m. In terms of time, we have 189 hours ETA. No problem there at all, so I can just easily do something like... You know what? Let's make it a bit cinematic. If I do it something like this, and then we sleep, close the curtains a bit. Good night, guys. Catch you in the morning. And we're back. Isn't that cinematic? This is epic. That way, it's not too obvious that I cheat. Wrong button. Alright, off off we go. There is actually a toll to cross the border. Interesting. Silent as you go, silent as you come. Tesla is in the house. Welcome back, man. How have you been? That's a way to simulate the simulator. I know, right? Immersion is key. GTM speed 567. It did sound a bit familiar. Wanting to get back into the Mac F700. Oh, I don't think I've had that yet. Is that the payware one? A bit fast on the turn. We can make that work. In real life, before you cross the bridge, you pay a toll of 28 pesos. 28 Mexican pesos. How much would that be in USD? Bridge of Spies. I haven't seen that. I heard in Netflix the, what is it, Old Guard. Heard it's nice. Based on comics, is it? Charlize Theron and stuff. 170. Oh, not bad. Mac F700 is payware. I think I've seen you drive that at one point. I think I vaguely remember the look of that cab over Mac. Is that optimized or more like John Ruda trucks in terms of graphics or frame rates? More like 5 out of 10 if you're in German. Me, probably -1. Somebody screaming in your CV on ATS again. Arvin Truckers MP. When you worked in Germany in 60s, hardly anyone spoke English or French. I guess times are very different nowadays, huh? You cross the border a lot. Makes sense. Tom Hanks is in it. Ah, nice. What's the story about? So we should be officially in the US now. In Arizona specifically, I guess. The Mac is nicely optimized. Nice. Who was it by again? Maybe that's something I can get into also eventually. Older cab over. Key Shadow Walker. Interesting. Are those? Yeah, those are the same model. He does nice mods. I should get more into these payware mods. The Long 4SS trailer mod. Well, of course, I'm not familiar with it, huh? Mexico border crossing toll, 28 pesos. Oops. US crossing, $350. How do you pay? Do you have to pay in the local currency? Like in cash? Or do they have like credit card options now and stuff? Contactless payments, Apple Pay and whatnot. that's the one to the right. We should be moving straight. Here we are. Nice. Okay, yeah, officially in the US now. Well, since a while ago, but now that I've seen a few of the junctions and signs, it looks more like US now. Very nice ramp here, very nice merging lane. Not suddenly cutting off, get a lot of heads up on it. I like it. Has to be cash. Can either be pesos or dollars, I see. Yeah, I kind of assumed it would be cash. How about there where you guys live? Are contactless payments becoming more the thing now? Or is it still very much a cash-based system there? I guess with the entire COVID thing, it's become more... contactless payments have become more famous. There's more of a thrust to get into those for safety purposes. Did that affect any of your payment options? Based on a true story, being the lawyer trying to save a Soviet spy from being executed, ends up saving him in case the Russians hold an American spy in custody. Wow, that does sound exciting. Can you post the name of that movie? Is that in Netflix? Or yeah, how do you watch movies nowadays? I would not watch it in a cinema. I guess they would have to like tie it up with Apple Store or play movies or something, or one of the streaming sites, services. Special transport load that he has, right? The long one with the concrete beam. He made that one, the Western Star with all the axles. I see. The axle master, I should call him maybe. The Scania Next Gen T series, no, I have not. I was thinking of purchasing it from John Ruda. He has one. It might be high poly again though, so I'm a bit having reservations. Because I am really into optimized trucks, so I can max out my graphic settings. Contactless and cash pay. Somehow you have something you put on the windshield, like a sensor, and just drive through it. It's on Netflix. Oh, nice. Yes, please post the name of the movie. Mrs. Clumsy probably will not like that, but for myself, I will probably get into that. Yeah, we've been getting a lot of overload on K-dramas recently. Actually, I'm watching a very interesting K-drama. Apparently, not all of the K-dramas are rom-coms, and some of you guys might like it. The concept is very modern, and it's very much in line with our gamer mindset. It's called Memories of Alhambra. That's the name of the series. It's Korean, but it's not like a love story. It has love story elements, but it is centered more on the game. And it's quite interesting actually. We didn't know it was that was the storyline, but it revolves around the main character being the CEO of a company, and they have this new technology for augmented reality. So you put like a contact lens, and that becomes your screen, and you play games. Oh, 1 second. My CPU just shot up in temperature. Okay, it's back to normal. It's a bit scary. I have to monitor that better. And yeah, you play games in an augmented reality point of view. So you use your hands really. When you use a sword, you really hold it, and you like combat people or characters that are not visible to anyone else who is not logged into the game. So it kind of feels like you are a crazy person whenever you're playing the game, because you're like swinging your sword without really holding anything, and the other people don't really see you doing anything. But it's a very nice concept, and the story revolves around all the complications around that kind of environment. And it's quite interesting actually. I didn't know it was that was the storyline, but for myself, I will probably get into that. Yeah, we've been getting a lot of overload on K-dramas recently. And some of you guys might like it. We didn't know it was that was the storyline. And And it's a very futuristic, a very forward-looking concept, and the story behind it, it's very intriguing. It's like, wow. It's a very nice script writers and story writers that poured a lot of effort into that, I can imagine. We're getting close to the end of the series. So the mysteries are starting to unravel. But yeah, to put a bit of a teaser, it's a game, but somehow there is like a mystery that sometimes, even though it's a game, it affects real life. So it has like real life implications, and something that should not be part of the scope of that game. So that's where all the complexities start happening. And I'm going to leave it at that. And if you're interested, you can watch it. But yeah, it is a Korean series, so there is a bit of K-drama aspect in it. So might be a bit different from the Western series that you guys are familiar with. Very different style. Ooh, nice junction. Take a shot here. Phoenix, apparently. Thanks, Rohan. Coins are a big issue in the States. Shortage. Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder why. People are hoarding it or something? I think I heard that from the financial podcast I was listening to. And I think there was a study at one point, not sure if it was in the US or in Canada, but there came to a point that actually the worth of the, I'm not sure if it's a nickel or some coin, its monetary value versus how much it would be worth if you just melted the thing and sold that raw ingredient was more. So the raw ingredient, I think, was worth more than the coin itself. So you would be like, it's more worth it to just melt it and sell it than use it for money. Something along those lines. I'm not sure where it was, but there was an article about it. I'm not sure when it was. John Ruda, this truck, I think it cost me $15. I'm not sure if the price fluctuates, but yeah, he would tell you when you ask. It's either 15 or 25. I think it's 15, because with 25 I might have buckled a bit. This Freightliner, I think, is his cheapest one. I think the Scania T Next Gen is $30 bucks. Oh, but you were asking about the Scania T, so I think it's 30. Why did I get lost? Did I miss a turn? Might have, huh? Ars Mod's version much better and €20. Customization like paint jobs. Is it optimized? Can you share the link? You might need permission to post the link though. You can share it in Discord if you're there. I would love to check it out. I've been wanting to try out a Scania Next Gen T series for the longest time, but I have two prerequisites. Main prerequisites. It has to be optimized, and it has to have awesome sounds. Because if I work with default sounds, I think I will hold off on it. Yeah, the Freightliner is 15, I'm sure. Right, Kriggleman. Have a good night. Thanks for hanging out with us. And just like that, passing the baton, now Bot is here. Hey Bot, how have you been? Shift change. I do have a Facebook page. I do have Discord as well. If you're planning to share the link, best would be in Discord, or just here is okay. And the guys can help post that in Discord. Exclamation point Discord gets you there. 32 degrees Celsius. Humidity 65. Wow, doesn't feel like 65 inside my room. Feels like 99. Cloudy with a temperature of 32. It is cloudy. That's more or less accurate, I would say. Wind is blowing from the south, 5 kilometers per hour. Nice. That's the one with the Scania Next Gen T series. Nice, thank you. You close enough. Why does this place look familiar? That's in ATS, right? Can't remember where that is in the US though. Grabbing a drink as the thing comes by. But it's better to smash into the cone than into the back of Mr. Police Officer there. I'll take that. Let's go and speed up again before I try and grab a drink. Made from. Yeah, coach, it's flattened. A bit harder than I anticipated. Must be premium quality cones there. Drink. GTA 5 cones, they do the same thing. Are they? So it's like you get damage when you drive through them. HRS most are the guys who did the Mercedes new Actros MP5. Wait, but the model from there, I wouldn't say that's optimized. That sets a dangerous precedent there. I like this. Stop with the one-way thing on the top there. Nice attention to detail. If that's the accurate, that is. Fuel. We do actually. Wow, been traveling quite a while, huh? Let's go and get some rest here. I'm not sure if it's optimized, so that's more of a question. Haven't really seen it before. But if they're the same guys behind the MP5 Actros, that MP5 Actros is terribly non-optimized. So did they do the same thing there? The MP5 Actros has the most number of triangles I have ever seen in the truck model. It's like, what was that we counted, guys? 11 million triangles? When normally an SCS truck would be around only 1 million. So it's like loading in 11 trucks at the same time. 89 gazillion triangles. And then they put AI. They put that as AI. Thank goodness it's only an optional mod, so easy enough to not download it. But you can have like an 11 million triangle truck spawning right in front of you, times how many? Well, based on the count in triangle, it doesn't seem like it. They don't seem to have changed it, so it's still pretty optimized. So I think they've improved the quality, but they've maintained the optimization, which is amazing. Most of the SCS trucks don't even reach 1 million in the exterior, like 700,000 triangles based on the mini console count. So yeah, very far away from 11 million. This truck I think is at the 7 million range, this Freightliner Classic. So very heavy compared to SCS, but still not as heavy as that MP5. Oh, I'm not sure, but the first time I looked into the triangles, it was already around 1 million. Maybe I came in after that change. That MP5 looked so good. I wish someone could optimize it. Maybe Kalimim or Harvin could get in it. So nice, give you that premium futuristic feel of modern trucking. As modern as it gets. But your frame rate would not be so modern. Optimized to 75. Yeah, Harvin has to clean up all of those. Yeah, I think those are even heavier than Frank Peru's trucks. And that's saying something. I mean, in terms of customization, parts and all that, I think it's great, but it's just the actual 3D model itself is super heavy. Because I think they exactly what I mentioned a while ago. They source it somewhere else. They buy the 3D model from an actual modeler, but the modeler doesn't really have gaming in mind or game optimization in mind when he modeled it, so he made it as high poly, as detailed as possible, which you cannot really afford in a proper game like this. You have to limit the triangles so that it would be drivable. Janitor of the SCS community. I think so. Yes, I think so. I think it was 11 outside and 30 inside, because it multiplies when you go inside. So the worse you have outside, the negative factor multiplies. Turbo Squid, I think, yes. Where do those models get used oftentimes outside the gaming concept? Those models from Turbo Squid or others? Not walking anymore, you have a truck. Which one? Sorry, I'm missing some stuff. Oh, in that Sam game, you mean? Walking sim. Okay, I'm with you now. Nice. Any plans on streaming that game, Jack? Because I have really no idea how that game looks like. I think I saw some screenshots of it from some console shots, but have never really seen any gameplay footage of it. You made a video on YouTube. Oh, did you? Ah, nice. Okay, I'll have to look at that. Thanks. I'll have a look at your Discord. I'm sure it's there linked somewhere, huh? Sam Porter Bridges drives an Iveco. Not a Fuso? Oh, disappointing. Nice. Awesome stuff. That's who's the guy? Hideo Kojima game, right? Is that the one? The genius behind the Metal Gear series. Huge fan of that Metal Gear series. Man, that guy's attention to even the smallest of details is unbelievable. And given before, when the consoles had very limited power, capability, and he was able to squeeze in so much gameplay and details in there, my goodness, so good. You got that game with your GPU. Code doesn't work at the moment. Oh, that's nice when you get it. Awesome. Good luck, hope the code works for you. Metal Gear 5. Which Metal Gear was the one with the old Snake? That's the one I played last. That was nice. But I think my favorite was Metal Gear 3. What was his name? The... not Solid Snake. Big Boss or something? Oh man, the story there. That brought tears to my eyes. That was such a touching story. Still gives me shivers when I try and remember it. Slippery Snake. Solid Snake is the protagonist in the Metal Gear series. But there are other snakes. Liquid Snake. Yeah, what's his name? Isn't he Big Boss? Or that's when he became the like the kingpin thingy. Not bad getting a $60 game. Also got $60 off the card. Nice. Hey! Wow. Jack Reaper, thank you for subbing. Awesome stuff. Came out of nowhere. Appreciate it, man. GG. Sorry if you were chatting or were you lurking. More than welcome either way. Thank you for joining us and subbing. Sorry to call you out like that. If you did not prefer, you can remain silent if you so wish, and we'll respect your privacy. And you can join the Discord server too and lurk there if you like. ! Discord gets you there. Thanks, Rohan. You beat Alex. I was just going to say. It doesn't happen often, so we have to celebrate when that does take shape. You were laughing at Jack. You were still picking yourself up from the floor. Liquid Rattle and Trouser Snake are all in. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Metal Gear 3, I still remember it. That was really good. So what's Death Stranding all about then? Is there like a basic premise, like a story? Or do you just immediately get thrown into the world and walk? Your pastime. I didn't even know this is on sale. It was 11. So we won't finish this? Oh my goodness, we still have 30 miles to go. Yeah, that's true. Thanks for pointing it out, Alex. I had no idea. Okay, we'll exit here and just find somewhere to stop. It's okay, extend. Don't ask. Heavy story mode game. Does that come with a kappa at the end? It's not describable. So does the game literally throw you in the world from the beginning and you're left to discover what's it all about? That's actually a very nice play at it if it is. Very creative way of doing that. Grey Mother almost came out. Now you want to play it. The big question is, for me, how much space does it need on your hard drive? Maybe you have to buy the game, find the code in the game to get the game. It looks to have awesome graphics. And if it's a chill game, I might get into it. Yeah, me too. Horizon Zero Dawn. It's too chill. I'll have to watch Jack's videos. Would be perfect while cooking or making coffee. Mrs. Clumsy renovated the house a bit. Not really renovated, but repositioned some of the stuff. It's actually a lot more neat now. Not neater. That's a term. So I actually have more space in the kitchen. And when I'm cooking and when I'm doing stuff there, brewing my coffee, I actually have space. And she put the iPad there, so it's perfect. Like, wow. This is like, wow, I didn't know you had this much space. Yeah, I was never a tidy home person. Like, I would stay always at home, but I would never tidy up. Could never unleash all that space potential. Hey, Benny Bones! If you ever do space trucking, and I would like to at the moment, we would definitely do, how would I phrase it in a witty way? I don't have a term for it. Flying. Definitely will be flying in the near future when the new sim comes out. Space trucking, not so sure. Depends on what Elite Dangerous come up with and if it brings me back or if maybe some other space sim comes out. But definitely not writing it off. My HOTAS is waiting for me to come back. More space for activities. You could put so many JDARs in there. Oh my goodness, that looks so good. Let's take another photo here. This might be the thumbnail just for the sheer beauty of this lighting. Let's take that shot and call it a stream. Oh, that truck is a looker. My goodness. Very nice lighting. Game is just sterile. The game is amazing for me. It's just that I've done most of the stuff that I'm interested in doing. And I think at this point I'm waiting for more content. But for me, I was really addicted at one point there. Remember that grind I did for the Imperial Cutter and all that stuff. Fun times. Right. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with me. Went past the time. Thanks for digging in. Catch you guys on Discord. If you're not there yet, !Discord, and let's continue hanging out. Hey Mike! Thank you for reading. Were you in here a while ago? Did not even finish the job. Boo! Unsub! Have a great weekend, guys. Catch you on Discord. Flight Sim hype! Sorry. I can barely contain myself. Alright, thank you. And bye-bye. Have a nice day. One last. Next massive update, end of the year for Elite. Have no idea what it is. Biggest update ever. Then it's time to get back in. That's great news. Thank you. Alright, bye-bye. See you soon. Clumsy Snake signing off. There you go. Snake! Snake! Snake!